Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be telling you all about VICs, or very important clients. And this is specific to LV. I used to work for LV for many years at many different locations. Check out any of my other videos where I talk about my experiences. In particular, one of them, I talked about the toxic work environment at LV. And I recall the time when I had to personally drive from the boutique in my personal car with my own gas money as a broke young college student. I had to drive to a VIC's home to hand deliver a gift to him. And looking back now, I can see how it probably was not a good idea. I don't think they do that anymore. Maybe in some cases, a client advisor might volunteer to hand deliver a gift to a VIC if they're particularly close. In that situation, I definitely did not know the person. I didn't know where I was going. So things are a lot different these days. So I'll go over what qualifies a client to be considered a VIC, what the perks are, and how to maintain it. It's a little tricky because in order to qualify to be a VIC, you might inadvertently break other rules that might get you banned. And that's what's so interesting about the VIC world these days. Maybe some stores are different, but across the board, and I've discussed this with many client advisors, but the current minimum spend in order to qualify as a VIC for LV is $60,000. And that is an annual spend. That's not $60,000 like cumulative throughout your purchasing history of, with LV over the years. It's a $60,000 spend from January 1st through the calendar year. Now, in order to qualify to be a VIC, you have to spend that amount before September, because what happens is the corporate office will run through their client information. You have your client purchase history transactions. Your purchase history can be accessed from any LV boutique, including, LV headquarters and their corporate office. So they're the ones that kind of run these. It's basically a report to see who the biggest spenders are. And then they have a designated, boutique where they shop at. Now you can purchase from online and you can purchase from several different boutiques, but generally you want to spend that money at one particular location and ideally with one particular client advisor. There can be VICs that purchase only through online sales. I mean, it's a little difficult because a lot of times the kind of high ticket items are unavailable online. So oftentimes they purchase through online client advisors, the people that you call at the 866 number, and you can complete transactions through the phone. And they do have some VICs. If there's someone that helps you, that you prefer working with over the phone, and you don't have an LV boutique close to you, you can definitely request to work with the same client advisor over the phone. But I mean, I don't have that experience. That's all kind of new territory to me. When I worked for LV, at one point I had to drive the VIC gift to a VIC. It was like an hour and a half away. It was just such an annoying time for me. But back then, it's almost like the rules were just all over the place. There definitely wasn't a list that corporate would hand down and say, these are your designated VICs. It kind of was up to the manager's discretion at that location to make the determination, okay, this person is a heavy hitter, this person is an important client. Oftentimes the store director will have the leather goods manager and then the shoe department manager will give them a list of who their clients are that they want to be considered to be a VIC, and then they'll kind of dole it out, right? It's very different now. It's a lot more regimented. And so these days, the corporate office will send a list to each boutique, basically designating the clients that are attached to that boutique and who they determine to be the VICs for that location. So based on that list, that's where they get the number of the VIC gifts. The VIC gifts are the ones that you see on Instagram and on YouTube being unboxed. And these are special gifts. They're not produced for retail sale. You can purchase them directly from a boutique. These are gifts that are made specifically for VICs. This year it was the Vivian keychain or an ornament. It could be used as an ornament. I think it was a keychain or key charm. It could also be a luggage tag. Oh, there was an Asia exclusive. It was the Louis Vuitton Advent calendar. And I thought that was gorgeous, but that wasn't even available even for American VICs. A lot of times there are some exclusives only to, Asia or Asian clients. Maybe to avoid accusations of racism, they can't just say, oh, these are only for our Asian clients, but there definitely is an Asian market. And so those clients, like in Asia, and they're gifted things that are specific to that market, which include, I think there were like moon cakes, things to celebrate specifically Asian holidays. American clients won't get that, but they're not missing out because there are tons of other things. Another gift this year was a pillow and blanket. And from what I've seen online, some VICs were gifted the blanket only, some were gifted the pillow only, and some were gifted both of them. So at that point, it almost really depends on what boutique you shop at, because there are other people who also receive these types of gifts and they definitely don't qualify to spend. And in fact, you'll see them post and say, oh my gosh, my essay is so sweet. They sent me this VIC gift, but I haven't even bought anything all year. So you're like, what the heck? It's almost like there's no rhyme or reason. Everything is subject to change. Even the spend amount may not be the same for some boutiques. It could be that maybe they had more gifts to give out at a certain location than others. There are also other perks to being a VIC, and those include invitations to special events. There are events throughout the year, and it usually culminates in a fancy holiday party at the end of the year that is also invite only. Now, obviously, last year was just a wash. There were no in-person events. So not just the holiday party, but also collection previews, launch parties to preview like a new jewelry collection or new seasonal collections. You would receive a special invite to preview it and to maybe pre-order. Once you get to kind of the upper echelon of VICs, which are considered a VVIC or very, very important client, those clients can be invited to the LV runway show in Paris. This year, the invitation to the runway show included an LV mask. We're still in the pandemic. They did decide to have the runway show, but everyone had to wear a mask. And so the LV invitation included an LV face mask. I thought that was really cool. I wasn't invited. In my video where I discuss the perks and the benefits of being an LV employee, I talk about how back in the day, they used to send employees to Paris to view the facilities and go on a tour and then meet the CEO. And then they would have a dinner with the CEO, other hand-selected employees from all over the globe, and some VVICs. So those very, very important clients are probably the top spenders in whatever respective countries. They are flown to Paris and treated to this, wonderful dinner. At those dinners, that's also where they would award the highest selling employees in the company all over the world. So again, everything's changed. So who even knows? I have a feeling they don't do that anymore, although they did have the runway show. So I anticipate that those dinners and those trips have kind of come to a halt. But that is definitely one of the perks, is being invited to very exclusive events. Now, even if you aren't considered an official VIC per the corporate spend amount, you can still experience the benefits of a VIC, which include the availability of purchasing very hard to find and very limited edition products. So whenever there's a new hot launch of whatever trendy item that sells so fast where you don't even see them available online, it's because they are first made available to sell to VICs only. Okay, so, but then again, it's not just VICs because, sometimes they'll pass up on it. Then the list will be made available to what I call unofficial VICs, which are not, the corporate designated VICs, but at least at that location, a client advisor might consider that person to be a very important client, to that client advisor. And so then they would have the opportunity to purchase these items that aren't available to maybe the larger population if they just try to blind purchase online or just walking into a store. So when you're a VIC, whether it's official or unofficial, you are able to pre-order things, and also the client advisor might help you track down very hard to find items. Now, something new that's popped up pretty recently is the fact that some clients can be banned from LV. And I did an entire video talking about the product purchase limitations. It varies maybe from country to country, but in the US, they're very strict about what you can purchase. There are limits to the number of items, the number of SKUs, or basically you can't purchase multiples of the same, style. If you exceed those purchases, even if you're a VIC, you can be banned. And there were some cases where a VIC within the same week received a VIC gift and also received a ban letter. And you're like, what? Like, how does this happen? Which I can understand because it can be very confusing because every store has a right to refuse to sell items to a customer that they, don't want to sell to for whatever reason. As crazy and as illogical as it seems, you can definitely qualify as a VIC, receive a VIC gift, but also trigger the product purchase limitations that get you banned from LV and receive a ban letter in the same week. So a way to avoid that is by basically buying very high ticket items. And these include luggage, hard-sided trunks, things that would kind of get you up to that spend limit, but where you're not buying multiples of smaller items that would get you banned. Another is also purchasing from different categories. So, buying a very high priced watch or jewelry, and also buying ready to wear and shoes. That's why it's so crazy because, a client advisor, they don't necessarily even know whether or maybe they might have an idea that their client is approaching a product purchase limit. It seems like it's an automatic trigger and an automatic letter that's put out because, how insulting, right? If, you're considered a VIC, you're invited to these events, you're basically thanked by LV specifically because you're spending so much money, but then at the same time, you're penalized by LV for spending that amount of money. So it really doesn't make any sense if you think about it. It really doesn't. The purpose of the ban is to prevent resellers, not to prevent legitimate LV clients from purchasing things that they want and use and don't intend to resell. It's just one of those kind of tricky situations that you have to approach carefully. If you're getting to the point where you're approaching a product purchase limit, then look into other categories. Broaden your purchasing style. Don't purchase all monogram bags. Look into leather bags. Look into men's leather goods. Look into ready-to-wear, outerwear, jewelry, watches. That will help get you to that spend limit without violating the product purchase limitations that will get you banned from LV. There are lots of other perks throughout the years, and the VIC gifts change seasonally and throughout the years. Around Mother's Day, oftentimes clients who are known to be mothers will receive, bouquets of flowers. Sometimes they'll get a birthday cake on their birthday. In my situation where I had to drive a VIC gift to a VIC's home and hand deliver it to him, that gift was a sleep mask, I believe, and earplugs maybe. There have also been playing cards and, just other really cute random things that you don't really need, but are very thoughtful to have. You can check even on eBay. Some people sell their gifts. Some clients are like, whatever, I don't need this. Snow globes, luggage tags, wallets, card holders. They are not made, again, for retail sale, but they are produced specifically to gift to very important clients. But if your goal is to be a VIC, then do any of those number of things I mentioned without violating the product purchase limitation. It really helps to be loyal to one client advisor if you can, and ideally try to purchase from a lesser known boutique. If you're lucky enough to be close to different boutiques, like let's say you have a standalone boutique and then you have a boutique within a Saks or a Neiman Marcus or another department store, it might be easier to qualify as a VIC at the LV boutique within a department store because it's likely that the standalone would have more kind of high roller clients. In particular, the standalone boutique in Beverly Hills on Rodeo Drive, that's the epicenter of celebrity high roller clients. $60,000 is the minimum spend, but if that boutique, like Beverly Hills, has so many clients, so many celebrity high roller, multi-millionaire clients who spend upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars, your 60,000, which might, is a lot to many people. It's a lot to me. That's like nothing to them. So it could be that they aren't considered a VIC at that boutique. So I would focus your spending on another store, maybe one that likely doesn't have celebrities flocking and purchasing from there. Not to say that other boutiques don't have high spenders, but your chances of qualifying as a VIC probably go up exponentially when you're loyal to a client advisor at a smaller scale LV boutique. But that's the information I have. Again, I worked for LV for many years. It was a long time ago. Many things have changed and the rules have gotten a lot stricter. So if you're considered a VIC at LV or any other luxury designer boutique, share your experiences and let us know what the differences are that you see from brand to brand. I think the purpose of having certain clients qualify as a VIC is because you know that they are loyal to the brand, that they will continue to spend with the company. And so these gifts and all these other perks, those are all to thank the client for being such a loyal customer. So it's interesting to see how other brands treat their VICs because while again, LV does have these great gifts and benefits and, exclusive event invitations, at the same time, they also send these letters banning VICs from shopping. So it's kind of an interesting conundrum that they have on their hands. But yeah, so let me know what your experience is. Thanks so much for watching and I hope to catch you in my next video. Bye.